The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
So because I'm a somewhat gracious and considered husband, I realized when it was time to record short time shots, my lovely wife, Abby, was already sound asleep. And by sound asleep, I mean kind of noisily snoring away. So instead of giving you that soundtrack for short time shots, your mostly daily look back at the scores and more in the sport of wrestling, I'm going to walk out to the garage and record this using an app called Backpack. Now, when I did that, actually I made a mistake. One, I'm doing very little editing on this episode because one, I'm standing in the garage for the second time, which was the rule. I hit record, made sure it worked, and then I said, let me go into the settings and change something. Sure enough, I changed something, thought it would work. And then the 10 minutes I spent recording this, part one, didn't show up. I had a 90 meg empty WAV file. So here I am standing in the garage at 12:04 a.m. now on Wednesday, the day you're going to get this, telling you about Tuesday's scores. I had all script written out. I was going to talk about The Mandalorian and Man in the High Castle and the stuff I was watching. But now I'm just an exercise in futility. On to the dual meets from Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday. It's Tuesday. As I, again, stand here in my cluttered garage because the renovations are not yet done. And instead of a storage unit, everything is in here. I would figure the acoustics would be better considering all the crap on the walls, but that's neither here nor there. As noted in Monday's episode, by the way, these are the scores from Tuesday night. As noted in the Monday episode, there was a dose of Division III wrestling in Ohio, where number 4 Mount Union beat Muskingum 54-0. That was highlighted by 7 falls from the Purple Raiders, including a 10-second fall from returning All-American and top-ranked Antwon Pugh. Number 1 Jordin James, last year's national champ at 133, picked up one of the other 6 falls, but his coming at 141 pounds. Yeah, you hear that little stutter? I'm leaving that in there. John Carroll, a university, not a single guy, beat Heidelberg 25-15. Number 9, Baldwin Wallace beat Ohio Northern 28-6, while number 15, Otterbein beat Wilmington, the one in Ohio, 53-0. Of note with Wilmington, this is the second year the team has been active since reinstatement, but last year there were no home duels as part of an abbreviated schedule. Tuesday was the first home duel in 7 years for the Fighting Quakers. Yes, I say again, the Fighting Quakers. All-American heavyweight and top-ranked Drew Kasper had a fall in 94 seconds there for Otterbein. In case you're wondering, yes, they are related. In the NAIA, Graceland and Baker mixed it up, with Baker coming away with a 32-12 victory. Returning national champion Lucas Lovvorn of Baker picked up a major decision at 174 pounds over Brennan Swafford of Graceland. Lovvorn came in ranked number 1 in the country in the preseason at 174 pounds, while Swafford was the preseason number 2 at 165. Some of the notables on the docket for November 20th included Division III tilt with Wartburg hosting Simpson. Across the border in Wisconsin, we've got UW La Crosse facing UW Eau Claire. UW Platteville will face UW Whitewater. In Division II, in my old stomping grounds of Pennsylvania, you've got a PSAC tilt with Millersville, which was actually a couple miles from where I used to live. They will head northeast up Route 222 to face Kutztown, passing a few places in Ephrata, where I used to throw some darts. St. Cloud State, which is about an hour from where I live now, opens up the Northern Sun Conference schedule by hosting Southwest Minnesota State. In the NAIA, Briarcliff heads to Northwestern, which is the Red Raiders in Orange City, Iowa, while on the women's side, Texas Wesleyan heads north to face Oklahoma City. From the Daily Wrestling News, and as I teased on Monday's episode, there were some major shakeups in the NWCA Division I coaches poll as Virginia Tech moved up to number 4, tied with Wisconsin, while ironically enough, Lehigh is now tied at number 7 with Oklahoma State, the same squad they beat on criteria on Saturday because the match ended in a tie. Ryder, which upset Minnesota, moves in at number 20, while 3 teams who beat ranked teams, Stanford, Illinois, and Michigan State, were just outside of the rankings this week. As far as the individual rankings go, each site puts them up on Monday or Tuesday, and as I said last week, those individual rankings won't be linked here in the newsletter or on Short Time Shots because some sites put them behind paywalls. Some of them have them on the same link, which is not easily shareable from week to week with updated content. Yeah, whatever. That's a shortcoming that I'm not quite going to be able to move past here in the newsletter or the shots, but if I'm not going to list one, I'm not going to list them all. It's a fair thing, you know. Bo Nickel's going to do some grappling thing I'm not quite really sure of, don't really care about, but that story's linked up here in the newsletter. 5 Point Move tells you what you need to know about Nolan Baker, and this is something you need to know. Nick Forrester talks with Kyle Snyder about his move to the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club in a feature on TeamUSA.org. Nick's been covering the Olympic beat for a while at a few different places and usually puts out some pretty good stuff. Division III Adrian College brought wrestling back a couple seasons ago, and now the Bulldogs will honor the school's winningest wrestling coach on November 21st against Manchester. Check out the information on Paul McDonald Night. PA Power released its annual top incoming freshman report. Why is this relevant? Well, PA is the best high school wrestling state in the country. So when there's hammer freshmen in the Keystone State, you're going to want to hear about them. Yes, I said PA is the best high school wrestling state. Don't at me. You want some serious don't at me stuff? Read Kyle Klingman's piece on Terry Steiner that he wrote for Track Wrestling on why he believes, he being Terry Steiner, believes the U.S. should embrace freestyle over folk style. Kyle does a really good job at prefacing that by noting that Coach Steiner was actually one of the most ferocious guys on top with the folk style of the leg wrestling type of thing. Inside Colorado Wrestling features Fort Collins in episode 21 of the site's Border to Border series. I typically don't even acknowledge the buffoonery over at Barstool Sports, but former Kent State wrestler Kyle Bauer has been on the staff for over a year and has put out his something another all cauliflower ear team. I think he just finds different things through rosters, says, that guy's got weird hair, that guy's got bad ears, I'm going to put this on Barstool for clicks. Well, guess what? It worked. And in one such case, Dalton Robertson, the Big 12 Wrestler of the Week from Northern Colorado, you'll want to go to that and just take a look at this athlete's hair combined with the photo the Big 12 used for the Wrestler of the Week. The name is Dalton. USA Wrestling announced that Loves Park, Illinois will be the host of the 16U National Duels, a.k.a. the Cadet Duels. Where is Loves Park? I had to Google it, and it seems it's just outside of Rockford, Illinois. Yeah. Intermat's Craig Sesker wrote a feature on Luke Fletcher. On the network, we've got On the Mat talking with Wisconsin coach Chris Bono, but there's a pretty cool discussion with Doug Waggoner, the man behind Quant Wrestling, a new wrestling analytics site trying to provide stats and analysis based on actual performance data. By the way, Bono is entertaining as always. The ODU Monarch Mattcast revisits ODU's loss at number 9 NC State last weekend. Coach Daryl Thomas believes the match was closer than the score indicated. ODU is one of the charter schools on the network for obvious reasons, as is Virginia Tech, which I record their show Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling on Wednesday with Coach Tony Roby. You can get to read all those stories and more from Matt Talk Online's daily wrestling newsletter. Sign up for free at matttalkonline.com/news and get the day's top wrestling stories from around the world delivered to your inbox for free every single morning. Matt Talk Online's daily wrestling newsletter is sponsored by Resolite. If you'd like to support this show and all the on-demand audio offerings, free newsletters, and historical research, you can support this program and the network by making a small monthly contribution or one-time donation by going to matttalkonline.com/join the team. As always, the Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Sportswear as I stand here in the garage wearing my Compound beanie, my Compound jacket, and I'm looking for all sorts of stuff to send out for the Compound gear, which is coming soon. I've said that for a couple months. Still waiting on it to arrive for those of you who have joined the network and are waiting for your draft classes. Those are here. I'm going to send out the gift bags as soon as everything is complete. So, now that it is now 44.3 degrees. Actually, the temperature has gone up since I've been in here. You know why? I think it's all this hot air I've been bellowing out here for this particular podcast. But that being the case, I'm spending time in my garage, and I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me because you've always got time for Short Time. That was take 2 in the freaking garage after midnight.